In the name of Allah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Fahad Ali al-Shahri. We have today English Traveller 2, review of module number 2 and 3 for the first secondary stage, second term. The objective is to recall some information about module 2 and module 3. So we want to review and remember some information about these two modules. The content will be about vocabulary, grammar, speaking, and writing. Firstly, we will have vocabulary, compound nouns. So what is the meaning of compound nouns? It's about the combination of two nouns. So we have two nouns which function as one word, So it will be, it works as one, or they work as one word. The first noun defines the second one. So the first noun is illustrate the second noun. Let's take this example. We have bus, as you can see here in the picture. Stop, like stop sign here. So if we put these together, we will have a compound noun, which is a bus stop. As you can see here, it's like the place where the bus come and get or take some people. So this is one example of compound nouns. When you put these together, we will have like bus stop. It defines as one word. Practice. Match the nouns on the left with the nouns on the right to form compound nouns. So we have these nouns and we want to match between them. Like the first one, tourist attraction. For example, like Eiffel Tower here, it's one of the tourist attraction, like the tourists go to see it and visit it. Number two, adventure, holiday. For example, like rafting or some activities that you will do on your holiday. Number three, taxi rank. As you can see here, it's where the taxi parks or park. Number four, railway station. As you can see here, the picture where people go to the railway to move from or transfer or like go from place to a place or another city. Travel agency. It's like an organization, like when you call to book a flight or to rent a car and some other services like here in the picture. The last one, souvenir shopping, like this. It's things that you will buy or take as a reminder of the place you visit. Grammar, conditional sentences, type 1. It's about something which is possible to happen. So we are not sure about this one. It will happen in the future. And we can use conditional sentences in two tenses, like in present, at this time, or now. It's not like now, it's at this time, or future, like after 1 day or 2 days or like 1 month or etc. Conditional sentence consists of if clause, as you can see here, and the main clause here. So we have two sentences or two types. If plus present simple, and the main clause, it consists of future will, modal verb. So we have three usages here. For example, for the first one, like if plus present simple and then future will. If I find the book, I will buy it for you. So this sentence is in the future, and here as you can see the if clause, if I find the book. So find in the present simple, I will in the future, I will buy it for you. The second one with the modal verbs like may, might, can, or etc. If you go to the gym early, so here all of the if clause we use present simple with it. Like if you go to the gym early, you might see him there. And for the imperative, or imperative. Imperative, like when you tell something to do something, like when you tell someone to do something, for example, like go, drink, buy something, and etc. If you see him, ask him about the festival. So the imperative here is ask. If you see him, ask him. When the if clause comes before the main clause, like here, when the if clause at the beginning, and then the main clause, the two clauses are separated by a comma. Like as you can see here, the comma, and here, and here. But if we start with the main clause, like I will buy the book for you. If I find the book, we don't have to use the comma. If versus when. So if refers to the possibility, like something may happen or may not. While when refers to the time something is going to happen. So the action or the thing that it will happen, definitely it will happen, but here we use when because we're referring to the time. For example, if I will tell him if I see him. So I'm not sure that I will see him, may not see him, if we use if. But if I use when, I will tell him when I see him. That means definitely I will see him, but I'm waiting for the time or the moment. He likes to play soccer. As you can see here in the picture, likes is a main verb, likes. If we want to use so plus auxiliary verb or be verb plus the subject. Because here we have a main verb, so we have to use the auxiliary verb. So do I, because I comes with do. So do I. If we want to use so to agree with this. Subject plus auxiliary verb or be plus to, if we want to use to. And all of these to agree with this sentence. So I do to, and we have to use the comma before to. Here you can see the structures of these two, so or to. Type 2, when we agree with something someone says and the statement is negative. So the previous one, it's affirmative. The second one is negative. We use neither or either, or neither or either. For example, Muhammad is not a good swimmer. Muhammad is not a good swimmer. So the statement is in negative. If we want to use either or either, we start with subject, I, negative, I am not, because here we have be verb. So with I, we have to use am. I am not either or either. For the neither, we have to use like neither plus affirmative, auxiliary or be, because neither, it's negative, already negative. So we use neither, am, and then the subject, which is I. So you can use one of these to agree with a negative statement, like here. Phrasal verb. We already had this one before. So it consists of a verb and an adverb or one or more prepositions. And the meaning will be different from the verb it includes. So we have this practice or this exercise, match between the phrasal verbs and their meanings. So we have here phrasal verbs, and it's not the same meaning of the verbs itself, because it comes with an adverb or preposition with their meanings. The first one, come across. So when you come across something, you find it by chance. You didn't like arrange to find it. Bring back. Bring back, like return from somewhere with something. Number 3, cheer on. Shout to someone in competition to encourage him or her, like in matches, like soccer matches or basketball matches, and etc. Sell out, Mostly we use it with the past tense. You can see it in like in stores or mall. So it means have no. Here, because it's talking about the tickets, so it's have no ticket left. But sometimes you will find it in other places, like in stores. It means like no more of this item. Check out with F. Look at something that seems interesting. So if you like something, you check it out. Let down. The meaning of let down is disappoint. When something let you down, it means at this point. Present perfect progressive. Why we use present perfect progressive? Number one, it's about a repeated action or situation which started in the past and continue up to the present. So it started in the past but still in the present. For example, they have been using the internet for more than 2 hours now. So they started to use the internet before 2 hours, but they still use it until now. So we use the present perfect progressive. The second one, an action which was happening over a period of time in the past and may have finished. So the past action, it may have finished, but its results are obvious in the present. So we can see the result until now, even if it had finished. For example, here he is very tired. He has been studying all night. So he has been studying all night, but the result, it's like clear for us. He's still tired. Present perfect progressive structure. How to form a sentence. So we start with the subject. For example, here we have you, and then has or have. Because we are using you, so you, it takes have, been, and then we have to add ing for the base verb. The verb, the present tense or the present verb, we have to add ing to it, and then the object. So the first one is affirmative, while the second one is negative. It's easy, like if you want to transfer present perfect progressive sentence from affirmative to negative, we just add not to have or has. To form a yes/no question, we use has or have based on the subject that we use. So here we have you. Have you been waiting here for two hours? It should be here question mark. So we have to add ing for the base verb. For and since. These are time expressions that we use it with the present perfect progressive. Number one, we use for to talk about a period of time, like length of time. For example, 5 minutes, 2 weeks, and 5 years. For example, I have been studying for 3 hours. Number two, we use since to talk about a point in past time. Point, that means a specific time. 9 o'clock, 1st of January, Monday, and etc. For example, I have been watching TV since 7 p.m. Now we'll move to module number 3. Vocabulary. Opposite. What is the meaning of opposite? Something completely different. For example, here we have big and small. The opposite of big is small, as you can see here in these two balls. Give the opposite of the bold words or to the bold words in this exercise. We have saving, these bold words like saving, deposit, refused, correctly, had to pay. So the first one, you should start saving money. The opposite of saving or saving is spend. The good thing about cash machine is the ATM. is that you can deposit. When you deposit, you put money. You put money in your maybe account or other accounts. Withdraw. Withdraw when you take money. Charlie refused. When you refuse something, you like say no or something like that. So, and this one in the past tense. So the opposite is accepted. Here we have correctly. I spelled the name on the envelope correctly. The opposite is incorrectly. We had to pay. So the opposite of we had to pay is free of charge. When something is free of charge, you don't have to pay anything. Grammar. Negative questions. Negative questions are formed with auxiliary verb. For example, like these auxiliary verbs. Plus not, this is the short form of not. Plus subject and main verb. We use negative questions, number 1, to express surprise. For example, haven't you been to the city center before? The second one, when we expect the listener to agree with us. So like here, don't you want to come to the museum with us? So when the listener will agree with us, likely to agree with us, we use the negative questions. Question tags. Question tags are short question at the end of statements. Statements, it's like the sentences. We use them, number 1, when we are not sure about something. So we are not sure about something 100%. Number 2, when we want the other person to agree with us. For these two reasons, we can use the question tags. We form question tags with the auxiliary or modal verb. Auxiliary like do, does, or did, or etc. Or modal verb like can, could, must, and a personal pronoun in the same person as the subject. For example, here you couldn't see. So here we use the modal verb, and because we use as a subject, we use you. So after the comma, when we use the question tag, we have to use the same personal pronoun, you, and here you can see you. Number 2, Tom believed. Because we have here a main verb, so we change it to did, because it is in the past. And then we have he, which refer to Tom, because he's singular and male. So we used he after the comma. The last thing, when the statement is affirmative, we use a negative question tag. So the statement here, like the boys are at school. After the comma, when we want to use the question tag, we have to use the other side here because it's affirmative, so we have to use the negative. Aren't they? When the statement is negative, we use a positive question tag. She hasn't seen the doctor yet. So here it's negative, and in question tag, we have to use the affirmative way. Exclamatory sentences. How to form it. How or so, plus the adjective or adverb. What or such, with a or an, adjective, and noun. We use exclamatory sentences to give emphasis to the meaning of the adjective or adverb. So to make confirmation about something or to focus about it. For example, how wonderful. So we used here how, and then the adjective wonderful. What a beautiful day. It was so funny. He is such an unusual man. Clauses of result. We use clauses of result to express the result of an action or a conclusion. So this is the main reason why we use the clauses of result. We use so plus adjective or adverb plus that. He was so bored that he left before the end of the lecture. So why he left before the end of the lecture? Because he was so bored. This is the reason. such plus a or an plus adjective plus noun and plus that. It was such a hot day that we all went swimming. So why we all went swimming? Because it was such a hot day. We say so plus much or many. So much or many it comes with, or they come with so, but such it comes with a lot of. That, the word that, can be omitted, especially in spoken English. So when we speak, like sometimes we omit, we don't use that. For example, here, he was so bored, he left before the end of the lecture. So we didn't use that. But if you use it, that's alright. So and such, we often use so and such to talk about cause and effect. Cause, it means that the reason. Effect, it's about the result. For example, here, the problem was so difficult. So this is the reason that we couldn't solve it. Here is the result. It was such a difficult problem. This is the reason that we couldn't solve it. So here it's almost the same. We used here such and here so. Writing, curriculum vitae, it's what we call it CV, is a short written description of your education, qualification, previous jobs, and sometimes also your personal interest. So this, it's like a brief information about you. We use it like when we want to get a job or something like that. So here we can see the name, address. So this, it's information about the one who is having this CV. So we call it personal information. Number 2, like here, from 2000 to present, hotel manager. So here is talking about his experience, like work experience. Number 3, University of Kent, MBA. So these are degrees or his degrees. So it's about his education. Fluent in Spanish and German, good knowledge of Italian. So here it's talking about the personal skills. Traveling, learning about different culture. Here it's about his interests. What is he like? What he dislike? No, here just about what he's like. Available upon request. It's about the references. Like if someone want to ask your previous manager or boss about you. So here it's saying available upon request. You can ask him to provide you with their numbers. Grammar, past perfect tense. We use the past perfect symbol for an action which took place before a specific point. Before that, let's take the structure of the past perfect tense. It consists of subject plus had plus past participle, then object. For example, he had sent. Sent is past participle. His CV to a company. This is how to form the past perfect tense. So why we use it? We use the past perfect symbol for an action which took place before a specific point in time. So for example, he had already called me before he left the house. The second one, she had finished her homework by 8 o'clock. So before a specific point in time, this is one example of it. She had finished her homework. This is the specific time. Or if we use it for the action in the past and the second action is in the past simple. Like for example, if we had two actions that happened in the past, the first one will be in the past perfect here, as you can see here in the chart, and the second one will be in simple past. For example, he had already called me before he left the house. So he called, then he left. The first one we use the past perfect. The second one we use simple past. Vocabulary related to training courses. So we have this vocabulary which we use it with the training course. Fees, a payment made in exchange for advice, for an advice or services. So it's like the money you pay in exchange of a service or advice. Certificate, it's official document that you receive when you have completed a course of study or training. So when you finish a course of study or training, you will get a certificate. Attend, be present at an event, meeting, like to show up an event or meeting or etc. Career, the job or series of jobs that you do during your working life. So it's talking about your working life, especially if you continue to get better jobs and earn more money. So career, maybe it's more than one, talking about more than one job. Practical work, the actual doing or use of something, like when you use your hands, when you use your body to do something. That's what we call practical work. Completed, finish making or doing something. When you finish something, you completed. Speaking, interior design. We have this role play, like if we have two or more than two to do something. For example, here we have two students. Imagine that we have two students. The first one asking some questions about the interior design course. The second one will answer the students' questions about the course. So this is just one scenario. You can like make hundreds of scenarios. Student A, how long is interior design course? So maybe the student B will say, this course, it lasts for 5 weeks. How much is the fee of interior design course? Student B can say maybe the fee is 2,000 real. How many students per class for this course? This is the question of student A. Student B can maybe say like 8 students max. Maybe another student will say like 7 students max. So this one is just an example of the speaking task. At the end, we will just sum up the information that we had. So in module number 2, we had grammar and vocabulary. The grammar, it was about the conditional sentences, sentence type 1. And then we had so, neither or neither, to, either or either, and present perfect progressive. With vocabulary, we had compound nouns and phrasal verb. For module number 3, we had grammar, negative questions and question tags, exclamatory sentences and clauses of result, and past perfect tense. These all with grammar. For the vocabulary section, we had opposite and training course vocabularies. For the writing, we had the curriculum vitae, which is CV. And the last one, speaking, we had role play about interior design. So this is all for this lesson. Thank you for watching me and good luck.